Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. What's the first thing you do when your alarm goes off in the morning? Do you hit snooze and roll over? Or do you jump out of bed ready to conquer the day? Too many of you are choosing comfort over growth. You've built a nice little bubble around yourself, a cozy cocoon where everything feels safe and predictable. But here's the hard truth: that comfort zone you cling to, it's not your sanctuary, it's your prison. It's slowly killing your potential. The comfort zone is a dangerous place. It lulls you into complacency, making you believe that mediocrity is acceptable. You convince yourself that it's okay to stay put, to avoid discomfort. But I'm here to tell you staying comfortable is the path of least resistance, and it leads to stagnation. You don't grow in comfort, you decay. Think about it. How many opportunities have you missed because you chose to stay in your comfort zone? How many dreams have you buried under layers of excuses and fear? I'll tell you what, I've been there. I've stood at the edge of my comfort zone, staring into the abyss of possibility, and it was terrifying. But I knew that if I didn't step out, I would never know what I was capable of. The comfort zone is a deceptive and treacherous place. It's that warm, cushy spot where you feel safe and secure. But let me tell you something, it's not as harmless as it seems. It's a trap, a prison of your own making. The comfort zone wraps around you like a thick blanket, soothing you into a false sense of security, convincing you that everything is fine, that you don't need to change. But in reality, every moment spent within those boundaries is a moment lost, a moment where growth is stunted and potential lies dormant. Think about it for a second. When was the last time you truly felt alive? When was the last time you pushed yourself to your limits, felt the adrenaline coursing through your veins, and came out the other side a stronger person? For most people, that feeling is rare because they've conditioned themselves to stay within the confines of what feels comfortable. You might think that staying in your comfort zone is a good thing, that it's protecting you from the uncertainties of life. But what it's really doing is robbing you of opportunities, experiences, and the chance to discover who you really are. Every day, countless people wake up, go to work, come home, watch TV, and repeat the cycle. They're living life on autopilot, merely existing rather than truly living. They become so accustomed to their routines that they no longer question whether these routines serve them. They've traded growth for comfort, and that's a deadly trade. The truth is, nothing great ever came from comfort. History is filled with stories of those who chose the hard path, the path of discomfort and challenge over the easy way out. You have to understand the comfort zone feels great at first, like a soft bed on a Sunday morning, but it's a slow poison. It numbs your senses and dulls your ambition. Each time you choose to stay in that cozy bubble, you're feeding a monster called complacency. Complacency is insidious. It creeps in quietly, whispering sweet nothings to you, promising that it's okay to take a break, that you can always try again tomorrow. But the problem is tomorrow never comes. That's how you end up years down the line, looking back and realizing that you've wasted your life playing it safe. The comfort zone doesn't just hold you back from achieving your dreams, it actively works against you. It tells you lies. It convinces you that you're not capable of more, that you should be satisfied with mediocrity. But deep down, you know that's not true. You know you're capable of so much more than what you settle for. It's time to confront those lies head on. You have to be brutal with yourself. Look in the mirror and ask, am I really living? Am I truly pushing myself to my limits, or am I just coasting through life? The reality is that your greatest achievements lie on the other side of discomfort. That's where the magic happens. That's where you find out what you're really made of. When you step outside that bubble, you'll be faced with challenges, obstacles, and pain. But guess what? That's where growth happens. When you push through the discomfort, you emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Think about the last time you faced a significant challenge. It could have been something physical, like training for a marathon or lifting weights for the first time, or it could have been mental, like tackling a difficult project at work or having a tough conversation. Whatever it was, I guarantee you it wasn't easy. But once you pushed through that challenge, how did you feel? You probably felt exhilarated, accomplished, like you could conquer the world. That's the feeling you get when you step out of your comfort zone. When you embrace discomfort, you learn to trust yourself. You develop a belief in your capabilities that no one can take away from you. You start to realize that you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're becoming the person you were always meant to be. That's the power of getting uncomfortable. It's about breaking free from the shackles of self-doubt and fear that the comfort zone tries to wrap around you. But let's be real, breaking out of your comfort zone isn't easy. It requires a mindset shift, a commitment to facing your fears and taking action despite them. It means getting up when you want to stay down, pushing forward when every fiber of your being tells you to retreat. It's a daily battle, and it won't always feel good. But that's what makes it worth it. You have to remind yourself every single day that comfort is a lie. It's a mirage that keeps you from seeing the vast possibilities that lie beyond. So the next time you feel that urge to take the easy road, to stay cozy and comfortable, remember this: you are capable of so much more than you can imagine. You are a warrior in your own right, and the only thing holding you back is the choice to stay where it's safe. Get up, break the chains of comfort, and unleash your true potential. The world is waiting for you outside that zone, and it's time to step up and claim it. Let's talk about the dangers of complacency. Complacency is a slow and silent killer. It creeps into your life when you least expect it, wrapping its tendrils around your ambition and slowly choking the life out of your dreams. It's that comfortable feeling you get when everything seems fine, when you're just coasting along thinking this is good enough. But let me tell you something, good enough is a dangerous place to be. Good enough is a trap that leads to stagnation, to a life that lacks passion, purpose, and fulfillment. Every single day, people fall into the complacency trap without even realizing it. They wake up, go through the motions, and repeat the same routines day after day. They've convinced themselves that they're okay with mediocrity, that it's acceptable to live a life that's unchallenging and predictable. But deep down, there's a fire inside them, a desire for more. Unfortunately, complacency snuffs that fire out before it ever gets a chance to burn bright. It convinces you that you don't need to push yourself, that you can be satisfied with where you are, even if it's nowhere near where you want to be. The reality is that when you choose complacency, you're choosing to ignore your potential. You're telling yourself that you're not worth the effort it takes to strive for greatness. Think about it. Every time you choose the path of least resistance, you're letting fear dictate your life. You're allowing doubt to creep in and take control, leading you further away from your goals and dreams. And let's be honest, life is too short to live it on autopilot. Each moment wasted in complacency is a moment you'll never get back. It's a moment where you could have been growing, learning, and pushing yourself to new heights. Complacency thrives in comfort, and when you're comfortable, you're not challenged. When you're not challenged, you stop growing. It's that simple. You become stagnant, and stagnation breeds regret. You start to wonder, what if I had taken that risk? What if I had chased that dream? What if I had pushed myself a little harder? Regret is one of the most painful emotions you can experience. It eats away at you, gnawing at your insides until you're left with nothing but a hollow feeling, a sense of loss for the life you could have lived. But here's the kicker: complacency doesn't just affect your personal life, it spills over into every aspect of your being. It seeps into your relationships, your career, your health, and your overall happiness. When you settle for complacency, you're not just letting yourself down, you're letting everyone around you down too. You become a shadow of the person you could have been. And that affects your loved ones, your friends, and your colleagues. They look to you for inspiration, for motivation. And when you settle for mediocrity, you're depriving them of the opportunity to see what's possible. Now, let's talk about how to combat complacency. First and foremost, you have to recognize it for what it is: a threat to your potential. You have to be vigilant and constantly assess your life, your habits, and your mindset. Ask yourself tough questions. Am I truly giving my all? Am I pushing myself to grow? Am I settling for comfort over progress? These questions will force you to confront the hard truth about where you are and where you want to be. Next, you need to establish goals that stretch you beyond your comfort zone. Set challenges that scare you a little. When you set a goal that pushes you to your limits, you create a sense of urgency. You're no longer comfortable, you're compelled to act. This is where the magic happens. When you push through the initial discomfort, you'll find that you're capable of so much more than you ever imagined. Surround yourself with people who challenge you. Find individuals who are relentless in their pursuit of greatness, those who refuse to accept complacency in their lives. Their energy will be contagious. You'll begin to adopt their mindset, and together you can push each other to heights you never thought possible. Remember, iron sharpens iron. You need those around you who are willing to call you out when you're slacking, who will push you when you want to quit. Also, embrace failure as a part of the journey. Complacency thrives on fear of failure, but the truth is that failure is a stepping stone to success. Every time you stumble, you learn something valuable. Each failure teaches you resilience, grit, and determination. When you embrace failure, you dismantle the power that complacency holds over you. You realize that it's not the end of the world, it's just another opportunity to grow and improve. Finally, you have to cultivate a relentless mindset. You need to be the kind of person who refuses to settle for anything less than greatness. This means adopting a mentality of continuous improvement, always seeking to better yourself, whether it's physically, mentally, or emotionally. Understand that complacency is always lurking in the shadows, ready to pounce on any weakness. It's up to you to stay vigilant, to fight back against that urge to settle for good enough. You have one shot at this life. Don't waste it by allowing complacency to take root. Every moment spent in complacency is a moment you'll never get back. Step up, confront your fears, and refuse to let complacency dictate your life. The world is waiting for you to unleash your full potential, but you have to be willing to fight for it. Push past complacency, embrace the grind, and let nothing stand in your way. The time for action is now. Get after it. Fear is a powerful emotion, and for most people, it serves as a barrier, a thick wall that keeps them from breaking through to the other side. It paralyzes you, holding you captive in your comfort zone while you watch your dreams drift further away. But here's the thing, fear isn't something to be avoided. It's something to be confronted, challenged, and ultimately used as fuel for your fire. Fear is not the enemy. It's a signal that you're on the verge of something great. It's an indicator that you're about to step out of your comfort zone and into your potential. Think about the things that scare you. It could be the idea of public speaking, the thought of starting a new job, or even the fear of failing in front of others. These fears are universal. Everyone experiences them at some point. But what separates those who achieve greatness from those who remain stagnant is how they respond to that fear. Most people let fear dictate their actions, allowing it to keep them locked away in a life that feels safe but is utterly unfulfilling. They avoid risks, they shy away from challenges, and in doing so, they miss out on the opportunities that come from stepping outside their comfort zones. When fear creeps in, you have to take a hard look at it. Instead of letting it control you, challenge it. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? In most cases, the worst outcome isn't nearly as catastrophic as you've built it up to be in your mind. And even if the worst does happen, what's the lesson you'll learn? How will it prepare you for future challenges? By confronting your fear directly, you begin to strip it of its power. You start to realize that fear is nothing more than an obstacle on the path to your success. One of the most significant mistakes you can make is allowing fear to convince you that you're not capable. When you let fear run the show, you're telling yourself that you don't believe in your own potential. This is where most people go wrong. You were born with everything you need to succeed. You just have to have the guts to tap into it. You have to be willing to take the leap and trust in your abilities, even when fear is whispering that you're not good enough. Let's talk about discomfort for a second. Discomfort is the birthplace of growth. When you push yourself to confront your fears, you step into that discomfort zone where real transformation occurs. Every time you do something that scares you, you're tearing down the wall of fear, fortifying your strength. You're proving to yourself that you can handle whatever life throws at you. You're building resilience, grit, and an unwavering belief in your capabilities. Think of fear like a muscle. If you don't use it, it atrophies. But if you push against it, if you challenge it, it grows stronger. You have to face fear head on and force it to submit to your will. This is not just about overcoming fear, it's about using it as a catalyst for change. Every time you encounter something that scares you, embrace it. Don't run away, lean in. Each step you take into that fear builds your character and enhances your ability to confront future challenges. You might ask, how do I even start? Well, it begins with small steps. Don't try to tackle your biggest fear all at once. That can be overwhelming. Instead, start with something manageable. If public speaking terrifies you, join a local group where you can practice speaking in front of others. If you fear starting a new project, set aside a small amount of time each day to work on it. The key is to take action, however small, and to do it consistently. Each step will lead you closer to conquering that fear, and soon you'll find that what once felt insurmountable is now just another challenge to overcome. You have to shift your perspective on fear. Instead of viewing it as a roadblock, see it as a tool for your growth. Use it to your advantage. When you feel that familiar tightness in your chest or that little voice in your head telling you to stop, recognize it as a signal that you're on the right path. That's where the growth lies, on the other side of that fear. And remember, fear is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're pushing your limits and expanding your horizons. Every great achiever you admire faced fear at some point in their journey. The difference between them and everyone else is that they didn't let fear stop them. They faced it head on and forged their own paths in spite of it. You have the power to redefine your relationship with fear. Start seeing it as an opportunity to prove to yourself just how strong you are. When you begin to embrace fear, you'll find that it no longer has control over you. Instead, you'll control it. You'll learn that fear is just a feeling, and feelings can change. The more you confront your fears, the more confidence you build, and the more your comfort zone expands. So the next time fear tries to hold you back, remember this fear is a signal that you're about to step into greatness. Don't run from it, run toward it. Challenge it, confront it, and use it to fuel your growth. Your comfort zone is a cage, and fear is the key to breaking free. It's time to face your fears, step into the unknown, and discover what you're truly capable of. Life is waiting, and it's time to embrace it, fear and all. When you're out there living your life, one of the most critical things you can do is embrace the grind, the relentless pursuit of your goals, the sweat, the pain, the struggle. The grind is what separates the dreamers from the doers, the wishers from the doers, the wishers from the achievers. Everyone wants to talk about success, but very few are willing to put in the work it takes to actually achieve it. People are quick to throw around their dreams and aspirations, but when it comes down to it, how many are ready to dig deep and get their hands dirty? The truth is, if you want to rise above mediocrity, if you want to achieve something extraordinary, you have to be willing to embrace the grind like it's your lifeblood. Think about the concept of grind. It's not glamorous. It's not a social media highlight reel. The grind is messy, exhausting, and relentless. It's waking up before the sun, getting after it when everyone else is still sleeping. It's putting in the work when you'd rather be comfortable on your couch. It's choosing to show up for yourself day after day, regardless of how you feel. The grind is not about luck. It's about dedication, perseverance, and a fierce commitment to your goals. Too many people underestimate what it means to grind. They think that success will come easy, that if they wish hard enough or think positively, everything will just fall into place. Let me tell you, that's a fairy tale. The reality is that success is earned. It's built through late nights and early mornings, through sweat and sacrifice. The grind is what transforms you from an ordinary person into an extraordinary one. It forges resilience and shapes character. Each time you push through the fatigue, each time you dig deep and find that extra reserve of strength, you're building the kind of grit that most people will never understand.